Hi everybody, I'm just making a quick tutorial for Enigmatic Allure. Um, she asked me how I make my yarn tails, and rather than typing out a huge long message that could get lost in translation, I thought I'd rather make a tutorial on YouTube for you so that you could see what I do and um, like you wouldn't get confused. And if you do get confused, you can always message me via my inbox and say, just ask me a specific question. So you've seen the picture of the start of my yarn tail, but this is my yarn tail now. As you can see, it's a lot longer. But what I started off with is a base. Now, as you can see, I've put a kind of little knot there in the middle because I made it way too long, because like I would be forever doing it. That's actually plenty long for me, that length. It's like, yeah, that's plenty long for me. So what you need to do is you need to figure out how thick you want your tail and what length you want your tail. So get a measuring tape and measure how long you want your tail. This is to like the back of my knee, the backs of my knees. It doesn't look it, but it is. It really is. If it's from there to there, it's gonna be to the back of my knees. And what you do is then, if you want a thin tail, say you want it, because this is going to be 23 inches long, okay? And it's going to be around about 23 inches long. But what I recommend you do is cut out, say if you want a thin tail, 26-inch long pieces, because you're going to have to tie a knot at the top like this. So to give yourself an extra couple of inches to do that, so you don't take away the length from the tail, so you still have that 23 inches and then a few other inches to play with, like, to tie the knot, like. And then if you want a thin tail, I'd say cut around about 30 pieces of yarn that length, so 30 pieces that are 26 inches long. And if you want one that's this thick, this is 50 pieces. And then if you want something even thicker than this, go for 80. And then what you do is separate it into 3 pieces and plait it. And then what you do is, now this is the funny part. Sorry, excuse the popping noises in the background because I have a fire going on in the background because it's very cold up here at the moment in Sligo in Ireland. Anyway, the 3 main tools you will need, apart from the yarn, for this is a pair of scissors, a brush. Now when I say a brush, you can use a hairbrush, but they're not that great. But you can run to your local pet store and get like a fine wire brush, like a cat brush. And they usually come with these combs, so you can comb out the fur from the brushes like that. And they're just better at brushing out the yarn. And you will lose a lot of yarn when you're brushing it out. And the last thing you'll need is a hair straightener. And what you'll do is you'll get a ball of yarn You do use a lot of yarn when you're making a full length tail. When you're making a key ring size, you don't use that much yarn. And where your fingers meet your palm, get the yarn just like that and wrap it around 10 times and then cut it at the top of your hand. Then tie a knot in the middle and you'll be left with something like this. You can just see the knot in the middle there. So you're just left with 10 pieces. Now what you do is you take one piece out from either side of, sorry, let's do this, yeah. Take one piece off either side of the yarn, because these are the pieces that you're going to be using to attach to the plait, because you'll be tying these onto a bunch of threads from the plait. This is a very long process. Yarn tails take a long time to make, so they do tend to cost a lot more than other tails, but they're worth it in the end. Especially when you have the satisfaction of knowing you made it yourself. Anyway, then brush it out with the brush and you will be left with something that looks like this. Like a weird owl's hair. And as you can see, you're probably thinking, oh my god, there's like no yarn left. But this is where the hair straightener comes into play. And as you can see, the two pieces of yarn are still left, as they're the things that will be attaching, I'll be using to attach. I'm just trying to separate the fuzzy yarn from the unfuzzy yarn. Right, okay, now you get the hair straightener, and this is very hard to see because and just use a hair straightener as you would on any normal hair and just straighten the yarn to your liking. With this yarn I only go over it a few times because I like my tail to be nice and bushy. Just burnt myself a little bit. It's times like these when I wish I had a nice small pair of hair straighteners. So yeah, so straighten it to your desire, or even if you don't want to straighten it, you don't have to, because I know there's lots of people out there who have characters like poodles and stuff like that, and or just fluffiness. So now you can see the yarn has been straightened, so it does look like fur, except it's not from a dead animal. Right, now comes the part. Fine, what I do is I do like a ring of grey, because this is grey and brown yarn, even though it looks like my webcam doesn't pick the colour up very well, even though it looks like black and I don't know, some other colour that's very indistinguishable on this webcam. It looks more grey than, more black than brown, but actually in real life there's more brown than there is grey. I don't know. Anyway, I do like a ring of brown and then I do a ring of grey, and so I get this mottled effect. It's very, it looks very fox-like, I think, or coyote-like. But But anyway, lay the piece of yarn, I was going to say yarn, lay the piece of yarn down. This is very hard to do. So it's laid down, you know, and just position it, style it like, you know, how you'd like it to lay down. And then just simply grab a bunch of threads from plait, this is the fiddly part. So I've got a big chunk of threads there, and then put one side through, eventually, and then just tie it off a couple of times, as many times as you want. I usually tie it off around about 5 or 6 times because I'm one of those people who can't tie knots properly. But that's how it's done, and it's very, very simple. And then when you get to the top, you just finish it off, attach a D-ring or something like that, and you can find a nice pair of underwear or something, like a thong or something, a nice thong to attach it to, that you can wear under clothes, whatever is your preference, or just a clip so you can clip to your belt. I don't know, whatever your preference is. Be creative in that manner, which way you finish it off, really. I'm still knotting this. Right, and then when you're finished knotting, as I have finished, just grab the 2 pieces of thread and cut them off, like so. And I know that looks wonky right now. Once I add all the other round pieces, it doesn't look wonky. And you've added a piece of fur to your yarn tail. So that's how it's done, really. And I hope that wasn't too long a tutorial to watch. I'm really sorry that was very long. I'm looking at the clock there, but I didn't want to type it out because could you imagine how long I would have taken typing all that out? So I hope that was beneficial to you, enigmatic Allure. So bye.